Hey everyone, this is, as I write in my log apparently, I'm Emma. I'm going to be joined by Nikki from Nothing in a minute, maybe, I don't know. That's the drama of it, that I might even not show up. I'm doing that Zoom thing where I'm just recording and I'm on the call, so he could show up any minute. And so obviously I'm like, oh shit, is he coming? Is he not? That's the fun of it, that's why we're here. Yeah, so as we were waiting, I thought I'd talk about my friend's new brand called Gap. They're a new little startup based in Brooklyn, and they could really use the help of anyone, really. They have a Patreon. Nikki from Nothing is not here. It's now officially the time we're meant to start. So, as an interviewer, I'm looking to get, little details out of people. The fact it's 23 seconds past when I said we'd be starting and he's not here is... Oh, I'm glad I got that out of the way. Hi. 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 Exclamation point or no? Another turning point, fork stuck in the road. Here we go. He's here. I'm gonna be completely different now. Hi.
How's that? Is that better?
You've got a nice boom behind you. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
I have all my recording stuff hooked up to this shit. So whenever I do a Zoom, it's like I lose everything. I don't know what's going on. There's if you could see this mess of wires I have behind my computer. I try to make sense of it as much as I can, but I'm not very good at this. So apologies.
What are all the wires connected to?
An interface which goes to monitor speakers. That's where it gets messed up, I think. I have big monitors here. I can listen to things as loud as possible. But yeah. What's going on?
Not much. Had dinner. Yeah, just talking to you now, having a beer, having a Heineken.
Damn, I need to get there. It's about that time.
Yeah. 5:00.
Yeah.
Heineken.
You love Heineken?
Unfortunately, everyone else seems to hate it, but I love it.
I'm not a big fan, but I'll pretty much drink anything. So.
You got anything interesting on your whiteboard there?
Yeah. More shit that I have to do.
The schedule?
Yeah. A little bit of everything. Most of it's kind of wrapped up now at this point because we finished filming that stuff this week and now we're just editing and things. So right now it's just kind of cleaning up. I'm kind of going to start to unwind a little bit now the next couple weeks, which is nice. It's kind of nice, but it's also a little bit intimidating because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do after this.
You smoke weed?
I mean, I do that anyway, so but I'm worried that I'll wind up in like a 2-month stretch of just smoking weed and doing dumb shit, basically.
Last time you asked me what I thought of Jimmy Joster releasing pasta.
Yeah.
I deflected that question a little bit, but now I'm looking at all the marketing you have to do during a pandemic, and I'm like, maybe I should have taken that seriously.
Nah, fuck, that's pretty. I mean, that dude has always been trying to sell everything he possibly can. Podcasts, he's always been like an innovator of pulling money out of music, which is it's necessary. I think they got a bad rap in the early days for doing the Ozfest and stuff, but that was the first time that had happened. Now it's no one really bats an eye when someone makes it to that level. It's kind of sad that people did that to them then, you know, all they did was elevate the music and stuff. But like, yeah, but they were always, Jamie especially, is just always just learned how to really squeeze a sponge for sure. Can't be mad at him for that though. But Joss the Pasta though, it's pretty funny. Anyway, you look at it.
Why do you think whiskey browns like rock bands so much?
Ah, I mean, who else? Who else? I guess, you know. I mean, we just actually got linked up with the guys from Slain Irish Whiskey, and
That's exactly why I brought that up.
well, so my friend is works with them now, and he's like kind of like a brand consultant and stuff. And you know, he hit me up for some advice, and I needed some sponsors for that event, and I was like, here's some advice for you. I was like, I need some money. What are you working on? And he's like, well, I'm working with Slain. I was like, oh, Irish whiskey. I was like, fuck yeah, like let's go. You know what I mean? So I've always been like a Jameson guy. You know, that's like a green room staple. I think that's pretty common. But you know, I really enjoy Slain. They gave us 6 boxes for the filming the shoot we did, and you know, I managed to give everyone on staff a bottle, the people at the venue and stuff, which was cool. But I still came home with like 6 bottles, so I think I'm going to be a Slain representative from now on. I think we wound up drinking like a case of them there. Like we really can drink, so for the most part.
Now that this whole music thing is back in your life, do you feel that you're making worse decisions for yourself?
No, I mean, I don't have a platform to make any bad decisions. I'm sitting in the house constantly. If anything, no distractions. It's leaving me like I said, this fucking board. You know, it's been filled nonstop, erased, filled. Like my phone, like I'll just fucking show you, like see how fucking insane I am. Like just notes and notes and notes of things. You know what I mean? Like fucking kind of like manic over here. Like, you know, I'm pretty bad to deal with usually on a record rollout, but like having all this time and all this thinking of, you know, time for thinking and stuff is just like kind of turned me into like a little bit of a monster as far as like what I wanted to do with this record and stuff. But luckily, like for the most part, everybody's really happy with it because, you know, you know, everyone's trying to move units and get, you know, people are trying to move units, and then people care about the record and everything that went into it. So like they want to give it the biggest platform they can. So, you know, it's an interesting time, but you got to be like quick on your feet, I think. So
I feel like everything about this record demands something big. I mean, the production, I think that's the first thing people will notice. The production is so much better than it's ever been.
yeah, thank you.
And
Yeah.
all of the collaborators, everything is really fine tuned and really so elevated from the things you've done before that it kind of, I mean, you must feel the pressure to connect that massive and this massively realized project with the rest of the world. It must be scary that there's a possibility that it might not.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, there's always a fear of that, but especially now, it's like, you know, people were cut right down the middle as far as if we were going to release this year. You know, there was a lot of people that were like, no way, don't do that. You know, like let's wait, push to next year. You know, now you look at it, everyone who pushed in the next year, right, is it's going to be, I don't even know what next year is going to be like, all the music that's going to come out. Like no one's going to have like, you know, a lot of good things are going to go under the radar because there's just going to be this mass influx. And so in that sense, I feel like we really made the right move. But in the other essence is that, you know, heading into this winter is just like, it's scary. You know what I mean? It's going to be a scary place for a lot of people, not only like just being locked in the doors and this second wave that's going around of everything, but like financially, everyone's going to be fucked up, you know, and fuck, you know, isolation and winter and no sun and fucking no money and no music, you know. It's a lot of things. So for me it was kind of important to get this record out just for people to have something to get into. But it also kind of worked out that we were able to kind of have this, you know, this empty playing field. There's stuff coming out, but you know what I'm saying. It's like it's few and far between. So like, it sucks we can't tour on it. We can't make any immediate money off of anything. But like, you know, that's just the way this goes. You know, it's cool that we were able to make money for a couple of years on this band and stuff, but that was never my intention. I mean, you know, and I know that like it, you know, the world I come from, I'm used to not making money on music. You know what I mean? That's nothing. That was never what it was about. But yeah, I mean, having this time and stuff, like you said, it really did give me like the chance to fully realize everything and get everything in its right place, you know, which I've never really had. I'm usually, plus I have this great team, you know, new management and stuff, and they just built everything new from the foundation up, and everything has just been moving really, really nice. And it's easy for me to overanalyze every little bit like I like to. They make fun of me for being a Virgo all the time. It's like, you see all the notes. I guess, I mean, to an extent, I don't really believe in any of that shit, but whatever. I guess some of it might be true if you looked around in my little area right here. It's a little bit intimidating, probably.
With your previous albums, there was always some personal trauma tied to it. There was always something, some kind of story. You were called like the unluckiest band in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Your previous albums, and now we're kind of in what some people would call like this collective trauma.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel like releasing a record in this complete, now it's gone from personal to collective, maybe?
I mean, for me, it's just like it's just another day. Like, you know, as heightened as everything is, like you know, and how almost ridiculously absurd a lot of it is that it's all happening. You know, like you see all the memes, the 2020 memes and stuff, and like, you know, all the people passing on and legends, and you know, it's a little bit, you know, it's a little off-putting and a little different, but for me, it's just, you know, it's just everyday type of business for me. I mean, like I'm not surprised by a lot of it, basically. It's weird that a lot of this is all happening at once, you know, and there's obviously, you know, who could ever predict a pandemic like to happen? But in the grand scheme of things in history and everything, I mean, it's not too surprising that this is happening, you know, especially when the world is treated the way that it is, you know, like it's to be expected, you know. It's a little bit, I don't know the word. It is a little bit something that it's all happening at once. Like, you know, at one point, what with the civil unrest here and then the fucked up ass government, and, you know, the West Coast is on fire, the East Coast is flooding, and there's a pandemic, and flocks of birds are dropping into the other day in Philly, there was like a 1,500 or no 10,000 like exotic, like weird kind of birds, like all like flew into this skyscraper in Philly, and they just like a mass suicide, almost all angles just hit the building, and it's like something happened in that building that just like sent all these birds. You're seeing all this weird apocalyptic kind of stuff, and you know, it's funny to see people kind of have to deal with this, because like I've kind of always thought it was going to come like this, but now that it's here and people are like, oh, you've been saying this is coming out, it's like, this is just everyday shit to me. You know, it's just happened to be a really strange year, but like, you know, this shit's in front of us every day. It's just whether we care to look at it or not. You know what I mean? There's problems everywhere. These aren't all new problems, you know. It's shit that's been here forever. So
I remember when I was last talking to you, I asked you why do you always draw from the same, well, not always, but why are you again drawing from the same 10 years of your life for this album? Like, kind of, I don't really stand by that phrasing, because I think, like, I'm not sure if you relate to this, but with PTSD, like, I kind of feel like I'm time traveling, and it's like I don't just have memories, like I'm embodying that. Like, the past isn't the past, like nothing's in order. I am what's happened.
I mean, you just said it. I mean, if there's a decade that you haven't got past, the decade, you might as well still be living in it. You know what I mean? And you know, you can move on through your life, obviously, you know, but just because you don't want to think about it doesn't mean it's not there. You know what I mean? So it's tricky, you know, and for me, that the 10 years, this past 10 years, you know, kind of running with nothing and running with this project was like pretty strange and difficult in a lot of times. And I think a lot of that had to do with me really not like giving myself that time to deal with the things that happened in that previous decade. You know, it still like flows through me like I'm there still, you know. So and a big part of that is because I didn't, you know, I come from a place where it's, you know, it's kind of shunned on to be like to deal with feelings and stuff. It's kind of just like man up, you know, man up and get back to it, you know. That's kind of how it's always been with me. And so and where I'm from, it's like that. So for me, it was just like I came home from prison and it was like, don't think about what got you there. Don't think about your time there. Just think about what you're going to do now. And, you know, that's not the way to do things. You know, just the readjustment coming home from that 2 years is something that needs to be, you know, massaged and kind of like, you know, put back together in a proper way, which, you know, I just never did that. I never gave myself that kind of time. I don't necessarily know if I've done it yet, but I mean, noticing it and realizing that like you hadn't dealt with it is a big first step of doing things. So, you know, I don't think it's going to alter my life in this like crazy way or anything like that. It's just like another way to put it back where it belongs, I guess, you know.
Did you ever think that you'd live a long life?
No, I'm surprised every day, to be honest, and I didn't honestly. You know, you start seeing people going around you, and you're like, wow, like I didn't foresee me going ahead of this person, and it's kind of just been like that through the course of the years and stuff. And I've had my fair share of close ones, you know, but I'm still here. Who the fuck knows why?
How's like sustaining yourself become important to you, or is that something, do you want to sustain yourself?
Uh, you know, I mean, to an extent, I've watched a lot of people through my life and my family like run like a pretty unhealthy, you know, and a whole unhealthy existence till it ended terribly for them. But I've had people around me that I've watched, you know, take care of themselves and still end up in a terrible ending, you know. So I try my hardest to make better decisions that aren't gonna. I'm sick of, my whole life has been a lot of like, I wish I didn't do that. You know what I mean? That's my whole life has been that. So as I get older, I try to kind of slim that down as much as I can, and that's about as good as I can get. I think is, you know, try to make less bad decisions, and that's probably the extent of my sustainment preparations.
Hmm. Did you intend for the first word of this album to be truth?
I didn't, but that's pretty interesting. Trust.
Trust, sorry, trust.
You had it though. You're good.
Well,
No, I didn't necessarily. No. I mean, at least that track was very important to be where it was. Obviously, I think I might have mentioned to you that that track. I had to fight for that track to be where it was. And a big part of that is because I just wanted to kind of set the precedent for the album, because that record kind of gives a little bit of like where I am now, and where where this struggle of identity came from in the beginning. So it kind of really just sets the pace for the record. So no, but yeah, possibly, I'll say that.
when did the line "Paradise is somewhere else" come to you?
In Europe, actually. I remember I was driving in a van, tucked up in the bunk, really hungover, like really, really hungover. And we had like a 6-hour drive. And I just remember sitting up in that bunk, just like not in a good place at all. I think we were coming from Croatia, and we were heading to I forget, somewhere kind of grim. It's good that I don't remember it, because I don't want to call anybody's home grim, but it was a little bit of a grim show. And I was just fucking really just depressed and hurting up there. So I was writing a bunch of shit that day. I remember it. I was looking through those notes actually like a couple days ago, because trying to put together some stuff, and I try to sort everything out at the end, so I don't have to, like, if I ever want to sort all this shit out in full, I can kind of have it, because a lot of these songs start as something else before they turn into a song. So yeah, I was looking through it the other day, and it's kind of a trip. There was like there was some kind of thing I was writing about, like a car accident that I seen on the side of the road too, like right by it. So who knows where I was at that point, but yeah, that's about as good as I can get with that, I think.
You said sort this out. Do you feel that you've sorted this out entirely with this album?
No, absolutely not. Things are as uncertain and confusing and absurd and as ever. I think this is a step in a direction that'll maybe ease some tension for me. And I mean, I feel like I've accomplished what I set out to do 10 years ago with this band, which is a big thing. I think, it's like having this idea that this was going to be the thing that was really going to help me, just close that chapter, that decade, that whole decade, just being able to like walk away from that finally, like, and not feel like I'm running away from it, like leave it in a place where it belongs and just kind of move on. So in that sense, especially since I tricked myself thinking I did this already, you know what I mean? Like, after Guilty of Everything, yeah, I kind of felt like I did it, but I there was something that wasn't right. And, now I can feel it, that like what I wanted to do with this band is done. So, yeah, see what happens now. So
What you wanted to do is done.
yeah,
So why continue from here?
I don't know if I will.
Do you want to do a different projects? Like,
I have no idea.
okay.
I'm sure I'll get myself into something,
Yeah.
I don't know what, you know, I don't think like that, really, to be honest. you know, for me, typically I've always moved. I've moved when sometimes when I feel like it, I guess, but most of the time I'm moving because I'm getting bumped into something or bumped in a direction. And that's exactly how this all came to be. You know, like just being on my last limb basically, and just kind of reaching out for something. And this is what I wound up reaching out for. So, you know, hopefully my next thing isn't as dramatic as that. I'd hope at this point that you know that I'm not in a couple months from now just you know grasping. I don't want to be grasping anymore. I've done that too long in this life. So for me, it's just I just take things day by day. Getting out, rolling out of bed in the morning, and you know, is a huge thing for me every day. So as soon as I get out of bed, like that's already like a great first step. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens for sure.
I think we'll leave it there because you have a busy promotional trail ahead of you.
I gotta go take an Uber to Brooklyn right now and
Oh,
go get stuck in front of the camera and talk about shit I don't want to talk about. But this is refreshing. It's always nice to talk to you. So
yeah, so
we'll
cool.
have to do it again soon.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be good to talk to you, however. But yeah, thank you so much.
Of
I
course.
appreciate you a lot, and yeah, have a good shoot, and just get through it. And your album's out soon, and people are gonna appreciate getting to hear something like that. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. You giving me some motivation for the day.
Oh, good. Yeah, you too. I'm just gonna power through this now.
Yeah,
So
you enjoy yourself. I'll be on your level in a little bit.
okay, all right.
Hey,
See
it's good talking again. Thanks again.
you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.